nutshell, I am pleasantly surprised with this bike. This is the bike that you can have a good base, good foundation on with a monoshock, with a new frame, and you can really customize it. Welcome back, guys. We are doing another test review at Harley Davidson, but on this, the 2018 Softail Street Bob Z107. As always, with my test reviews, guys, I'll be taking you through what I feel is good and not so good on this bike. I always mention this in my reviews, but clearly I'm not a motorbike expert. I'm just some dude who likes to ride Harley Davidsons, so take it all with a pinch of salt. It's just my perception, but as always, what I'd recommend is that you guys get on one. Figure it out for yourself what you think of it. Okay, so let's get into the sound of this bike. It's got obviously the Milwaukee 107 engine, and leading into those exhausts you have got the Screaming Eagle mufflers on it, so it should give a bit of a nice tone to her. But without further ado, let's fire her up, and as always, let's try and hit the right button mark. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it sounds okay. It's just okay at the moment. Let's give her a bit of a brap brap. Ooh. That's actually quite a nice tone as you give it a bit of beans. Very, very good. So let's jump on her and see what the ergonomics are like. Okay, from an ergonomics point of view, this is where I feel there needs to be a lot of adjustments here. So we've got the mid controls, and then we've got the ape style bars. Now, from what I remembered last time, I felt that the controls, the mid controls, needed to be more forwards, because straight away as I bring my knee up, I'm starting to feel quite bunched up, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's going to start pinching on my muscles as soon as we do about 5 to 10 miles. The bars themselves, from what I remember, I feel that need to be a bit more towards the rider, because again, it just don't feel that it works at the moment in its standard factory form. With the seat as well, I think it's because of the frame, because it's almost like this position, and then with the seat here, your bum's almost like straight away now it's sliding down, so the way your knees are, you're going to be almost like fetal position. So it's just too bunched up, I feel, on this bike. In terms of the hand controls, like all Harley Davidsons, it is extremely simplistic, which I personally love. Got the hand controls on the right hand side where I'm looking now, self-cancel indicators, engine, stop, start, and on the left hand side you've got the horn, your headlights, etc. Again, very, very simplistic. And then straight ahead, which I really like, you've got the LED style gauges now, which I think look brilliant compared to what they have been. Some other improvements as well, you've got the nice LED light compared to the poor flame that was in the previous model. So there's a couple of things that I really much prefer on these bikes. And then the other thing as well, thing is the USB port, which is located just here, so you can charge up all your phones and sat nav, etc. And it actually looks relatively tidy, to be fair to it. The other thing as well with the suspension, on the other Softail models, you can actually do that from the side with that nice twisty knob. Coming up with some really specific words here. But with this Street Bob, you've got to take the seat off and do it manually. So for me, that's not great. But again, with the suspension, it is a bigger improvement than the previous model. Okay, so let's get out on the Motonewbrider test track. As always, I'll be talking to you about how this bike handles, how it feels. Looking at its speed, manoeuvrability. It's a nice dry day, so I should be able to push her a little bit more. She's done 316 miles, so the tyres should be nice and worn in, so hopefully no slip-ups. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. So the first thing I want to talk about, guys, on this bike is the cost side. So it's coming in at just over the 12,000 mark, and you're getting quite a lot of bang for buck for that money, that I feel, in terms of Harley Davidson world. If you look at the Sportster 48, that's hitting just above the 10,000 price range, which when you then put the two bikes together, the difference of £2,000 from what you're getting, well, I think this is quite tempting to put in a little bit more money and go for this. So I've been out on the road for about five minutes, I'd say. And again, those same feelings are coming back to me of just feeling bunched up on this bike. It's not as bad as I remember, I must be honest. It's not a car crash, but at the same time, you know, if you just had forward controls, it'd make it a big difference on this bike. Coming up to the first test, the manoeuvrability test. Let's see how she feels. going round the roundabout. So going round, round. Not much counter steer at all. Really easy actually, to be fair. Yeah, very smooth, like it. And with the bars, you can, you know, the benefit of them is that you can flick the bike about. I'd say a little bit easier than if you had the drag bar style, which would be obviously a lot lower. Actually, your back would be in half if you had the drag bars on this. So we're now going into the part of the test where I can get her out on the AA road. We can start testing that speed, because at the end of the day we all like to have a little bit of speed in our Harleys, let's be honest. So coming into the national speed limit, I just want to drop it down quite low and just see what the acceleration is like. So in second gear at 17 miles an hour, nothing behind me. So let's give it some beans. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yeah, that's very interesting, but I must admit I can feel quite a bit of vibration coming through the handlebars. It feels extremely light as well, but yeah, it's got a little bit of beans, I must say. Again, coming into a 60 zone, so let's check what she feels like at cruising range. There we go, we're at 60. Not much vibration coming through the handlebars, which is good. You know, and I'm actually riding on let's just say a not fresh tarmac road. No jolts coming through from the monoshock suspension. It feels very positive in terms of the handling. It's not pulling me to the left or right at all. Not having to use any counter steer. And to be fair, when you lean in, it's it's very easy. Let's give it a bit of beans and overtake here. Yeah, that's good, just about enough there. Giving it some action! For me, this is much more of a positive experience on the Street Bob compared to what I experienced with Harley Davidson about a month ago. But to be fair, I think the weather had a lot to do with that. The brakes feel okay, actually. I think because it's a lighter bike, it just handles better and it brakes better. So, let's test the suspension. Yeah, that feels okay, but I haven't adjusted it, guys, because I didn't have the instruments to do it, so it'd be a lot better experience if you adjust it according to your body weight, as I've done on the other Softail. So now, without further ado, we're going into my favourite part, the twisty turny. So we're really going to give it some beans, and we're really going to test that handling. I feel a lot more confident today on this bike. Did I say confident correctly then? Confident. Handling feels a lot better. It's just that wet patch was horrendous for me. So let's give us some, should be a bit of air at this point. Oh, yes! So coming into the first turn, one of the bends I've got to get down into second gear. There we go, a little bit of back brake. Lean into the left, pulling off. Feels good. It's a good little bike, I must admit. Could be eating my words here, guys. Coming into one of my favourite chicanes. So it's a sharp right, sharp left. See what she feels like. There's a guy here who actually sometimes see me go around. He always comments. Oh, nice, bit of back. Oh, that nearly came out a bit. Well, it did come out. So with the hand controls and the LED gauge, you know, for me, that's a massive benefit for this bike. It's really clear to see for me. I think when you've got a full face lid, like I have, you know, you're going to have to slightly look down to see it. But apart from that, it's really neat. It looks really cool. Controls are just so easy to use on this bike, and because you've got those ape style bars, you know, I've just got no aches or pains on the shoulders. Just a real nice ride. So again, coming into one of the A roads, we're gonna again see how she feels doing 60, and at the same time getting to the end of it, of this road, and going around the roundabout. Open her up. I think I'm going to start eating more and more of my words. It's a peppy bike, and I just think if you're looking at a Sportster as well, this is going to be up there. So going around the roundabout, I can really lean it in. It's got a beautiful lean angle on her. No clearance issues. Just a little bit of back brake, sweeping her out, visor down, open her up. Woo! I must admit, one of the things that I'm noticing is that I'm not getting much heat off the engine, and I say that in comparison to my V-twin that I've got on the FX DLS. You know, for the UK rider, this bike is going to be great, because let's be honest, it bloody rains half the time of year anyway. Okay, so I've had a lot of fun on this bike today. It has pleasantly surprised me in some aspects. So what I want to do now is take you quickly through the likes and the dislikes from my perspective, but bearing in mind I'm not a motorbike expert, I'm just a dude who loves riding motorbikes. Yeah, we got it. rock and roll. So here we go, the positives. The positives are, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So what I do like about it is, firstly, it's got the Milwaukee 8 engine. It's the 107. For the weight of the bike, it's very, very perky. I love the steering of the bike. I think with the apes where they are, it just allows you to lean in a lot easier. You can really flicker about. Clearly you can see them on the dry today, which super helps. I've still got an opinion, and a strong opinion, about in the wet. I feel it's going to be a bit tough on this bike, and I'm always going to say it, I'm going to stand by it. I feel like you need to change those Scorcher tyres. I think because of the weight of the bike, the brakes handle very well, so with that ABS, that's always going to support you. As always, I do like the suspension. I think obviously on this Softail, it's not as easy to change as the others, but I feel once you've adjusted it according to your body weight, yeah, it's going to be a good bike. Really good. Now the look of the bike, this is where people are gonna, yeah, they're gonna differ on this. I still feel it's a good looking bike. If someone asked me, do I think this is as good looking or better looking than the Dyna Street Bob, I'd say no. But I think it's still up there. I think one of the challenges it has is the shape of the tank. Just one of those things. I think you get a lot more benefits versus, you know, the look, shall I say. From a gearbox perspective, it's really smooth to go up and down the gears. Really easy, no issues at all. Love that, gives it a good clunk, so you know you're engaged in that gear, but that's really good. The clutch as well, for me it's soft. You know, I do like that. On my FX DLS, it's a bit of a fight sometimes, but with this, it's just super smooth, so you're not going to get those aches. You know, if you're doing urban traffic riding, that's when you're going to feel it the most, if you haven't got a forgiving clutch. I've said this on the other Softail bikes, but the gauge, fantastic. Whoa, get my hands back on, what am I doing? But the gauge, the LED gauge, absolutely great. Really, really good feature, love it. I love the USB port. I've said it in the last vlogs, the last reviews that I did. I know other bikes have had them, but Harley Davidson is gradually creeping up to that 21st century. To finally finish off, one of the things that I really love is the price point. I think for 12,000 quid, guys, you get a lot of bang for buck here in the Softail range. I think you'll have a lot of guys kind of looking at the top end Sportster with the 48s or the 1200 customs, and that 2,000 quid difference, oh, do you know what? You're getting a lot of difference there, a lot. And I feel then, if you just spend a little bit more money or just change the foot controls, you know, you're going to have a bike that you really, really enjoy. Okay, what don't I like? And actually, the stuff that I don't like, the good bit is that they're quick wins. So I think firstly you've got to change these mid controls and put them into a more forward control position. The other things that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm going to say this in the wet, is the tyres. Quick change, Scorchers change, Dunlops, Avons, whichever. But that's going to give you more confidence then in the ride. The other thing that I don't like is that, and it's an adjustment perspective, is the seat. I'm slipping forwards all the time on it, but I think when you change the mids to a forwards and you slightly adjust the handlebars, that will hopefully stop you sliding forward. So in a nutshell, I am pleasantly surprised with this bike. This is the bike that you can have a good base, good foundation on, with a monoshock, with a new frame, and you can really customize it. So I guess I gotta close this off. As always, guys, do you know what? I really appreciate the support. We're really growing in numbers at the moment, so thank you very much. All that stuff, you know, beating the chest and fist out. If you like this vlog, please slap that like button. I really appreciate it. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Lots of reviews, lots of customization stuff that I do as well. Well, when I say I do, I get someone to do it, because I'm really crap at stuff like that, but it's still a good journey, so come along. This is Motonewbrider signing off on a 2018 Softail Street Bob. Stay safe, guys, take care. Motonewbrider.